finished the test, man. So if it's okay, I'd like to know my grade. I mean right now, Miss Blomquist. Right now. I really studied hard. But you can tell that from my answers, can't you? Of course you can. That's good. Just keep grading like that. And then you'll have to... well, just keep going. The right answers and the wrong ones. That's right. You see, I have to pass. I studied so hard, and now I want my grade. '71. I passed. Now you have to die.
Hawthorne Avenue, Mac. You asked for Hawthorne. Are you getting off or not?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. Listen, I didn't mean to hold you up.
Well, you seem to fit the bill, young man.
What's that?
The kind, strong stranger I said I needed in the bulletin I put up in the supermarket. You're a little old to have read the one I had tacked up downstairs. You know, for a while, I didn't think anybody was coming around. But thank goodness you're here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Oh, you can just put that any place. I suppose you're wondering what goes where. Is that it?
Yes, that's it.
Well, it really doesn't matter. It all has to be packed away. 27 years of clutter. So it doesn't matter where it goes as long as it goes. You could start filling the boxes. And be sure to get everything because I'm leaving here for good. The term here ends day after tomorrow, and I'm retiring. A little early, I might add, if you're looking for canes and dentures. This is the messiest part of all, and I kept putting it off. I suppose I was hoping that some of the faculty ladies, my friends, would come and help me. Oh, well, it's the end of the term, and everybody's busy. Oh, just a moment. I'd better take that with me. What I hear about the weather over there this time of year is... You know, I'm sorry. I've been talking in riddles. I'm planning on living in England for a while. You know, the place where English lit teachers are supposed to go when they die. I wonder if this works. Oh, now that's bad luck. Well, just don't tell anybody.
No, ma'am. There's no one to tell. What about these?
No, just leave those. And this little book, I'm going to leave this here.
That's what he bought, Sergeant. An examination book. I rang up a big 8 cents. How come you guys let a maniac like that escape?
We don't know he's a maniac, mister. And if you've got a complaint, write it down and mail it in.
Sure.
Guys like that really bug me. You know, with mental patients, even if they are prisoners, they don't like to use the word escape. Half the time, these people just wander off.
Yeah, but this guy sure seemed to know where he was going. I mean, yesterday he comes directly to this town, the nearest one to the hospital. And then right to here. The first stationary store he'd hit.
Hey, mister. Are you sure he didn't say anything about where he might have gone from here?
I told you. All he said was he needed an exam book and had to go someplace to take a test. Oh, and thank you. That I do remember. You know, for a weirdo, that guy struck me as being very polite.
Excuse me, ma'am. Were you saying something?
Oh, nothing momentous. I was just asking if that twine I bought is all right, if it's strong enough. And if these things will get all the way to England.
Seems okay. It's good and strong.
You know, I've been talking so much about myself, I forgot to ask you your name.
Oh, it's Raymond.
Raymond what?
Just Raymond. You know, in a schoolroom, it's practically all you've got is your first name. When they call on you, it's always, yes, Raymond, or, Raymond, would you please give us the answer? That's right, isn't it, ma'am? Always just the first name.
Like teacher is a last name. Maybe that's the education gap in a nutshell. You're a very conscientious worker.
Thank you.
Speaking of school, where did you go? High school, that is.
Different places. I never got to graduate, though.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. Yes, it was too bad.
Well, a high school diploma isn't everything, believe me.
You know, ma'am, I think this twine is going to work out really good.
That's nice.
She's still out in the hall talking to Mr. McDonald. Oh, here she comes.
I'm Miss Bloomquist. As you no doubt know, I apologize for being late. But you'll still have the full hour to complete your examination. As you know, your own English lit teacher, Mrs. Taylor, is still home ill, and I've been asked to give you this makeup test for her. I understand some of you failed the test, and several of you missed it because of illness. But Mrs. Taylor told me that all of you will definitely pass the course if you pass this test this time around. So, good luck. Now, before we start, look over your questions and see if you have any. Are there any questions? Well, if there aren't any questions, please begin. No questions.
No questions. Well, that's why you have to die.
I'm sorry, but that's the way it adds up. 61. I'm afraid you didn't pass.
But it's not fair. I didn't understand the last two questions. I thought they were optional for extra credit. Please, Miss Bloomquist, I raised my hand. I didn't understand the instructions, and I wanted you to explain it to me. I was mixed up. You wouldn't give me a chance to tell you.
I gave all of you time for questions.
I was still reading. Please, Miss Bloomquist, I just have to pass.
Well, there's nothing I can personally do about it, but I'll ask Mr. Patterson to reconsider.
Mr. Patterson doesn't even like me. He won't do anything.
Raymond, are you all right? What's the matter?
Oh, I just felt a little dizzy, that's all.
Well, it is getting a little late. You're probably starved, that's what it is. I'm afraid I talked too much and I held you up too long, so I'll just pay you now. And I can finish up all these things tomorrow. That's 2 hours at $2 an hour. Is that right?
I think it was more like an hour and a half, ma'am.
Now, don't look so surprised, Mary Bloomquist. What do you really think? Your last week after 27 years and nobody was going to give you a party?
Well, I really was. Oh, excuse me. Just a moment, Raymond. We can't forget this little formality.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
And because it's a special celebration for you.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, Raymond.
Goodbye, Raymond.
Goodbye, Raymond.
Oh, come on, guest of honor.
Well, where?
The hotel, my dear. The Florentine room. Of course, we had to tell them you were really a European princess, so you have to speak only Hungarian, right?
Well, I'll certainly try. Oh, but I can't go looking like this.
You listen to me, Mary Bloomquist. It's not for nothing I spent the last 30 years teaching the kids about that brilliant organizer of campaigns, good old Julius Caesar. Behold.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Ready or not, here it comes.
fine way for me to act in front of my kids. Kids, I say. Louise, how old are you, anyway?
I'm afraid that I've reached the 30 mark now, Miss Bloomquist.
And she's Louise.
I'm Susan.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, but you're Anita. And you're Charles.
Right.
Well, it was very decent of you not to change your last name. You know, you've made this a lovely occasion for me, leaving your families and all and coming down here tonight. Thank you. You know, these were my beloved enemies, the faces in the seats behind the desks. Oh, but it's just not the same. Well, you give a lady a going-away party, and you give her some gifts and too much to drink, and you've got to hear what's on her mind. And what's on my mind, as I finally decided to leave all of this, is that something has happened to our kids. Now, let's face it. Let us face it. They're not reaching out for us like they used to. Like you used to. Oh, I know it's these ferocious, hostile times, I suppose, but it's just not the same. And it isn't nice. It's been going on for a heck of a long time, if anybody's probably noticed. It's almost 10 years. 10 years. You know, I bet I know what you all have just been thinking about. That your sauced-up school mom is going to continue talking for another 10 years. Class dismissed, boys and girls. It's safe now, don't you? I mean, to talk. You know, we haven't had a decent conversation in all those 10 years I was just talking about. Maybe a couple of hellos and how do you do. There's been nothing since you've been back, has there?
We didn't even have a talk 10 years ago. Just that goodbye note. Quite a conversation stopper.
You know, I was thinking about you today. I have something you gave me, a book of poems.
I remember.
Do you, Alan? You remember? You remember everything? The whole day?
Your birthday.
My 40th. That was a day to take stock. A day of great decisions. So, I decided...
I remember that, too.
I decided that you had no intentions of divorcing your wife.
But you didn't know that. Not for sure you didn't.
Oh, yes, I did. It was you that didn't know. And then there were the goodbyes and have a happy summer and have a happy life. Did you?
I think so.
I'm glad of that.
I tried to make the whole thing as easy as I could.
You mean your transfer? Then you came back, didn't you? I wonder why. Oh, it's probably because you knew you'd be the head of the department. Is your wife here?
No, one of our kids is having a party. I could only come for a few minutes myself. I just came to wish you bon voyage, Mary. Happy England, happy everything.
You too. You and yours.
You haven't changed.
Oh, but I have, Alan. I have. You know, I had to pack today, and I needed help. Do you know what I had to do? I had to post a notice in the market and on the bulletin board. Help wanted.
Well, the kids are all busy now. Graduation, end of the year.
So I told myself. I wonder why I told the waiter I didn't want a drink. Oh, but there was a young boy who took the job. And, well, he wasn't a student, Alan. He was a handyman or something. Oh, thank you, kind sir.
No, thanks.
But he was a young person. And someone clearly with a problem. So vulnerable. I wanted to reach out to him so badly, and I just couldn't do it. I was so nervous. I kept thinking about how late it was and how I wanted to get rid of him. Which is what I want to do with you now. Go home, Alan. There are people waiting.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
You?
I have time to read over his file while I was waiting for you, Sergeant, but, you know, there really is nothing here to give you the slightest idea where it might be tonight.
Wonderful.
Would you like me to tell you what I do know?
It's the best offer I've got right now.
Yeah. We're a couple of guys working after hours in the service of the public without a penny one in overtime pay. Like a little scotch? Beautiful. We had some dealings with this fellow about 10 months ago. Assault with intent to kill.
Thank you.
My pleasure. He got into an argument with some woman in a bar. Watched this stuff
For years now.
Well, it really doesn't matter. Because intent to murder is intent to murder, but it all started on such a trivial thing, you know. They were arguing about what president was elected in what year. Can you believe it? And then this man of yours, he got mad at something, then he almost killed her. So, we went through the motions, you know. We put the case on the calendar. And when I asked for the psychiatric examinations, I knew which way it was going to go. He was remanded to the state's mental facilities, pending further determination of the defendant's mental capability to stand trial. Oh. And that's where he stayed until the day before yesterday, or whenever it was.
That's when it was. You didn't mention any previous record.
Well, there wasn't any. I mean, there's no next to kin. There's no anything. You don't like your hors d'oeuvres?
I'm watching my weight.
Why don't you stand in line?
Wherever he is, and whatever his name really is or isn't, I think somebody could be in trouble, Mr. Rhoda.
Well, somebody usually is.
I went out to the hospital today for a while. Not long enough to really do the job, but I did find out that they had diagnosed him as a paranoid. Delusions of persecution.
Usually accompanied by potential violence.
Concerning maybe some teacher he once had. At least the doctors thought they got that far. A woman they figure middle-aged, maybe.
That could apply to that woman at the bar.
And a couple of other women at the hospital. Though they told me he was docile most of the time. As a matter of fact, he spent a lot of time in the library. Which, by the way, was the last place anybody saw him before he took off. I missed connections with the librarian today. I'll check her out in the morning. Could be that something in that library set the guy off. Do you realize how many calories one peanut has?
Oh, please don't tell me that. This is supposed to be the happy hour. I think you guys are going to catch up with this fellow pretty soon. Paranoics don't spend too much time covering their tracks.
And neither do hurricanes.
Hey, you dropped something.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Miss Perez? Is there any chance they'll let us out of school early today?
Yeah, we've all got really big plans for tonight. Mm-hmm. Who hasn't?
Harold, don't tell me they're finally going to let you out of here.
Today. It has to be today.
Well, for one thing, he was allowed to do what we are doing right now, to walk from the main building to the library. You see, we hate to tie them down. We try to let them do what they want. Dress how they like, grow a beard, to have an identity.
Or to hide one.
Yes, he certainly was hiding something, and I certainly didn't find out what.
Well, you can't win them all, Doc.
Poor twisted brain. Talking about winning. As far as I can tell, he never won anything, ever, in his whole life. Not even the right to walk around loose.
Yes, I usually kept an eye on him, all right. It's hard not to if a patient decides to hate you.
You mean he got violent?
No, he was always very polite. Too polite, I thought. The hate was there, all the same, just under the surface.
Yeah. Do you have any way of looking up the records to see what sort of books he checked out?
Oh, I don't have to look it up. It was the same book every day. A textbook. High school English, junior level. The standard used in this state. Oh, it's missing, too, by the way. Well, he'd take that book and he'd study it for a while. And then he'd go over there and browse, I suppose. Well, that's all I can tell you.
Maybe something happened over there to set him off. Thank you.
Hello.
You're Dr. Zakarian's patient, aren't you? I'm Dr. Abel. Do you come here often? There was a young man here 2 days ago. Perhaps you remember him. His name is Raymond. I'm Raymond's doctor. I wonder, could you tell me what Raymond was looking at here? It might help me to help him.
There.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. But there are so many newspapers here. Perhaps you could tell us which newspaper?
Where he used to live.
Where he used to live? Do you know the name of the place where he used to live? Well, that's too bad. Because it's possible that Raymond is in trouble. It makes me feel bad that... Because I like him. I like him a great deal. I take it you like him too. You do, don't you?
He opens the door for me. He even holds my chair. That's why I can't.
Can't what?
Tell on him. He shouldn't have done it. I told him people would get mad.
I won't get mad. I promise you I won't. So tell me, please. Please tell me, what did he do?
He tore out a story.
From the newspaper he was reading?
That won't get him in more trouble, will it?
No, that won't get him into any trouble. And you helped him a great deal.
I do like him.
I'll take it from here, Doctor. I'll go back to work.
My coat, too. When it's chilly, he even goes and gets my coat.
Well, the last class is over. School's out.
Miss Bloomquist, I just want to say goodbye.
Well, thank you, Alice. I hope you have a nice vacation.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye, Miss Bloomquist.
Goodbye.
I really enjoyed the class.
Thank you.
Have a nice trip.
Thank you very
Hope
much.
you enjoy your trip.
Nice vacation.
So long.
Mike, open my locker. That's my locker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Well, look, if you could stop all this packing. And I had to get it said. And maybe this is my last chance.
You sound so funereal, Alan. That's an improper word to use, funereal. But as one semantically sophisticated person to another, how is it possible to be funereal about something that's been dead for 10 years?
Mary, cut it out and listen for a minute, will you? It was stupid of me to transfer back to this school, Mary. Very selfish. That's why you're leaving, isn't it? Not because of the kids. Or because of me. Me, the proximity and a constant reminder.
Oh, you're a dear, Alan. You really are. I mean it. You really believe that it's still 10 or 15 years ago. What is it? Aren't the girls giggling as much when you tease them between classes? Never mind. I'm sorry about that. You had nothing to do with my leaving. This is what I'm running away from. Maybe it started with you. But before you or after you, what really mattered to me was I wanted to be a teacher. And I've failed at being a teacher for too long now. Goodbye, Alan.
Are you sure you're not just trying to let me off the hook or something?
I put in a request for an early retirement 2.5 months before I even knew you were coming back here.
Well, thanks. You were trying to save a little of my pride, weren't you? I just wouldn't let you. Goodbye, Mary. Oh, you were right, by the way. The girls don't giggle as much.
Ooh, if I were a girl, I'd be driving you crazy.
I came to finish, Miss Bloomquist.
Well, you didn't need to.
Yes, I did. I mean, I have to.
Well, that's very sweet of you, Raymond, but it really isn't necessary.
Yes, it is. I mean, you gave me that extra money, you know, and, well...
Oh. Well, I could use the help. And the company, too, I suppose. I've been putting all of these things in this box. And, oh. Here's the twine left over from yesterday. I'm sure there'll be enough.
I figured there would be.
Well, I'm very glad you're back, Raymond.
I wanted to come back, Miss Bloomquist.
Hello, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's for tomorrow. What was it you said to me yesterday? That you didn't graduate from high school because of a test?
That's right. I needed a 70.
Still one failed test. There are usually ways of repeating the course. Oh, Raymond, please forgive me if I'm getting too personal. I was just talking to you as if you were one of my students. You're not very old. You could be in one of my classes.
I was living with my uncle and my aunt on account of I'm an orphan. I never got to know anything about my mother, but I always kept asking, oh, wouldn't you?
Oh, your uncle, is that your mother's brother?
We moved a lot of different states, so I never went long to any one school, I mean.
Well, at least he made it possible for you to go.
No, that was on account of the welfare money. Wherever my uncle went, he would talk to these welfare people and tell them that he had a nephew living with him going to school. And that's how he got the welfare money. So, I just packed my clothes and cleared out. I didn't need all that hollering and getting hit all the time. I'm talking about the time when I didn't get a 70 on that makeup test. Of course, it wasn't just that one course. I didn't do so hot in the other ones either. And that principal, he never liked me in the first place. So I just dropped out of school and packed up my clothes and cleared out. I told you that already, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
But my uncle would have kicked me out anyway, on account of losing the welfare money. So I wrote him a couple of times. Some greeting cards that I bought in the PX. I thought maybe my aunt would like me a little bit better. Maybe she'd be sorry because she always called me dumb.
You said the PX. Were you in the Army?
There was a lot of rotten people there, too. Not only in the Army, but everywhere since. Seems I could have gone on to school, but it was just that one test. Just that one test.
What is that you have, a textbook?
I guess it's okay. No wonder it got so quiet. The band's gone home.
Oh, I guess we're ready to go, too.
No, we can't go yet, Miss Bloomquist. We haven't finished with this.
Something else to be tied up? Everything looks done to me. You're a very conscientious person, Raymond. And I admire that. Well, I have to go, too. So I'll just go get my things.
never told you what happened after the service, did I? Well, what it was just a lot of moving around. It's hard to keep all that straight. How do you expect me to remember all of that anyway?
Raymond?
I remember the last place, though. I'm not so dumb. That hospital with that Dr. Abel where they stuck me after what happened at that other place, that bar. Dr. Abel, big deal. He's a big liar, that's what he is. Try to tell me I'm wrong about that, Miss Bloomquist. I dare you. Try to tell me. How could Dr. Abel be telling the truth when he says he can make me feel better after what was done to me? What was done to me in this very room. When I got treated so rotten. When I got all messed up for my whole life. And when I got cheated by you. By you, Miss Bloomquist. Now, we'll wait a little longer and make sure nobody's here. And then you're going to do it again. But this time you're going to do it right. You're going to do it fair. My makeup test from English Lit. Sure. June 12th, 1961. Right in this very same room. That's it. The makeup test. I passed fair and square. I got a 71. I deserved a 71. And everything that's happened since. All the stinking things. The terrible things. They're all your fault. It's all your fault.
He usually does that. Holds my chair when the dinner bell rings. Please. Don't hurt him.
Now, look, young lady, don't worry. Go on, enjoy your dinner.
No. He didn't tear that out. I just made it all up.
I figured this out this morning. This way, I can see, but it doesn't show from the outside. You didn't know I was that smart, did you? No. No, this isn't right. Her mouth wasn't covered until near the very end. No, not till the very end. I didn't plan this, you know. I saw it all happen. Lots and lots of times. Okay? If you scream, nobody's gonna hear you. So don't scream. I'm sorry. You're scared, I can tell.
I am.
I've been scared. Lots of times. Okay. Okay. Now you're gonna go get me my test paper. It's in a folder marked tests. I've been keeping my eye on it all along. It's in that box, and I didn't tie it up.
We have a whole series of tests for every course. It's been some time since I used any of them. We switched them all around and mixed them up, and over the years, I don't know which test it was.
I do, Miss Bloomquist. A guy remembers certain things. Question number 1. John Ruskin. R-U-S-K-I-N. Describe the meaning of pathetic fallacy and give an example from a work by John Ruskin. You see? It's the test that starts like that. And you better find it.
You know what to do. Check the time. I have 1 hour. Check the time. $7:20. Okay. Wait. Ask it. You know what? Any questions? Ask it. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions?
No, Miss Bloomquist. Bloomquist. What an ugly name. Ask it again. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
No. Not this time. I don't have to wave my hand at you for nothing. Do you remember that, Miss Bloomquist? Do you remember that? Well, now it doesn't matter. Because I learned which questions are optional and which ones aren't. I learned that much. Okay. Wait. Two minutes. 2 minutes went by when I was telling you that. 2 minutes.
All right, you have an extra 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. First question. Describe the meaning of pathetic fallacy and give an example from a work by John Ruskin. Do you think I don't know that? You'll see.
Has taught at the school for 27 years. Miss Bloomquist's future plans, other than the extended trip to England, are indefinite. Asked what she will miss most, Miss Bloomquist said, next year's classes, the students I'll never get to see. I think that must be the item you're referring to, Sergeant.
Yeah, thanks. Now, look, I'm going to call your police department and tell them what I know. I'd appreciate it if you'd call, too, and read that clipping for confirmation. And do it right away, please. I've got a feeling that this Miss Bloomquist might need protection. Maybe right now.
That's right, Miss Bloomquist. Keep checking the answers, the right ones and the wrong ones. Okay. Now, there they are. The last two questions. Those are the ones I didn't get to answer because you wouldn't give the instructions to me.
Raymond, how did you remember these last two questions when you didn't get around to them last time?
I didn't remember them. But I read the book. Believe me, I read that whole book. And the whole point is that this time, I knew that they weren't optional. And there they are, both of them, both answers. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner was a poem written by Robert Browning. It was told by a wedding guest who stopped to talk to this old sailor. It's about a curse that was put on the ship the wedding guests once sailed upon because somebody killed something. Charles and Mary Lamb wrote many plays that were put on by Shakespeare in his theater. To answer part B, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet was about a boy and a girl who loved each other. The girl was very nice. The two of them only wanted to be together. Nobody understood that they were just happy together. So they ran away to some place that was like a cave. And that's where they got killed. Okay. Now you finish, Miss Bloomquist. I get 5 points for this one and 5 points for this one. And then I can add that on what I had, and I've got a 71.
A little while ago, Raymond, you said that you had thought about all of this a lot. You'd imagined it.
Just add it up.
And something else about what would happen later.
Add it. Add it. Add it.
Listen to me.
I want my grade. Don't start talking like a teacher again.
This is exactly how I must talk to you, because that's what I am. If you're going to hurt me, if you're going to do something to me, I haven't anything to lose. Perhaps I'd tell you the truth anyway. I'd like to think so. But, Raymond, these answers are wrong. I'm going to tell you what you did right, and I'll also tell you what you did wrong. That's what studying is all about. Not the marks. It's getting to know. And what's interesting and very encouraging is that you were almost right on both of these. And that's very good, considering that you were trying to teach yourself.
I passed.
Oh, but you can. That's what matters. You can.
No, I can't.
It's too late.
Cruiser Unit 12, reporting on the residence of one Mary Bloomquist, 4125 Ingram Place. The resident doesn't seem to be on the premises. No sign of disorder.
Well, that report from upstate could be a false alarm, but better check out the high school.
Right away.
This is the book. Standard text, high school English, junior level, authorized by State Department of Education. This is the right book, and you can't tell me that it isn't. And I studied it hard.
Well, I'm sure you did, Raymond. But this book is supposed to be used by students and a teacher, and you...
And I looked things up. Every day I took it and I studied it. Now, this book goes right back. Right back where it belongs. think I'm dumb? I'm not so dumb.
What's the matter, Uncle Walt? I just tripped and fell. I couldn't help it.
Don't start screaming at me. I know about the welfare money. $82.50. You think I didn't know that? Think I'm dumb like she says?
She's dumb. I know a lot. I studied real hard all summer. I mean, what's fair is fair, Miss Bloomquist. Miss Bloomquist?
Raymond,
Yes, ma'am?
you know the rules of this school. Students must be courteous. Now, rudeness and shouting will not be tolerated. This is a classroom, and you will remain seated. Raymond,
Yes, ma'am?
now go to your seat, and the lesson will continue.
This isn't a classroom.
I said sit down.
It's dark. Classrooms aren't dark.
Don't interrupt. Just sit down and pay attention. We're going to study Romeo and Juliet.
I knew this wasn't a classroom. Were you trying to trick me?
I'm not trying to trick you. We must go back to the classroom. And you will walk, not run. Do you hear me? You will follow me with proper decorum. Go to your seat, Raymond. You know where it is.
Wait. I don't need to sit down. Why should I listen to what you say, Miss Bloomquist? You didn't listen to me when I raised my hand and asked you for instructions about what was optional and what wasn't. And I had a right to know. You didn't listen to me.
You're right. I didn't listen. And you deserve an explanation. I had a friend, Raymond, a man. And that day, just before the test, I broke off with him. When you raised your hands, I was looking out the door. I was feeling very sorry for myself.
71.
I tell you again that the answers you gave on the test were wrong. But I was wrong, too, because I didn't give you a chance to understand what you were supposed to do. My wrong was the worst one, because I'm the teacher, and you're the student. And I'm the adult, And you're just a boy. Now, it isn't too late. You can still pass that test. I'll teach you everything you have to know right now. Please go to your seat. Go to your seat, Raymond. Go to your seat.
We saw lights.
Can't you see a class is in session? Now, if you don't mind. As a beginning, let's start with the first question you missed. The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner was written by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Coleridge. Now, there are a couple of very interesting things about Mr. Coleridge. He was a very famous man, a very important man, and he was worth studying. And one of the things that I think is very interesting is that Coleridge never finished school. And another thing, after a while, he went to live with a doctor because he was very troubled about things. Terribly mixed up. Am I going too fast?
No, it's not you, ma'am. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of slow getting things. But I always get them sooner or later.
Of course. We only have to get a start tonight. And then I'll come and teach you at that, that place where you live.
Well, you might have to come a lot. Because, like I say, I'm a little slow.
I'll make you promise. I'll come and teach you every day if it's necessary. That is, until September. And then I'll only be able to come on the weekends. Because, you see, I might change my mind about retiring. Of course, then I'd have to be here Monday through Friday. Teaching. Well, to complete the thought on Mr. Coleridge, he felt that people were really helpless in trying to fix their own lives. But as I always tell my students, I don't agree with that idea at all.